Welcome to Shane and me.
Hello, my dear friends.
This book contains 23 chapters. 32 chapters. So I am decided to read this book in 4 chapter wise in 8 videos. So I wish you all will continue to watch the series of this Peter Rabbit book. It will be really interesting to read this and I hope you all will do so. So let's start. Mrs. Peter Rabbit, Chapter 1. Peter Rabbit loses his appetite. Good appetite you'll always find depends upon your state of mind. Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit had lost his appetite. Now, when Peter Rabbit loses appetite, something is very wrong indeed with him. Peter has boasted that he can eat any time and all the time. In fact, the two things that Peter thinks most about are his stomach and satisfying his curiosity, and nearly all the scraps that Peter has gotten into have been because of those two things. So when Peter loses his appetite or his curiosity, there is surely something the matter with him. Ever since Old Man Coyote had come to live on the Green Meadows, Peter had been afraid to go very far from the dear old briar patch, where he makes his home, and when he always feels safe. Now there wasn't any reason why he should go far from the dear old briar patch. There was plenty to eat in it, and all round it, for sweet clover grew almost up to the very edge of it. And you know, Peter is very fond of sweet clover. So there was plenty for Peter to eat without running any risk of danger. With nothing to do but eat and sleep, Peter should have grown fat and contented. But he didn't. Now, that is just the way with a lot of people. The more they have and the less they have to worry about, the more discontented they become, and at last they are positively unhappy. There was little Danny Meadow Mouse living out on the Green Meadows. He was happy all the livelong day, and yet he had no safe castle like the dear old briar patch where he could always be safe. Every minute of every day, Danny had to keep his eyes wide open and his wits working their very quickest, for any minute he was likely to be in danger. Old Man Coyote, or Reddy Fox, or Granny Fox, or Digger the Badger, or Mr. Black Snake was likely to come creeping through the grass any time, and they were always hungry for a fat meadow mouse. And as if that weren't worry enough, Danny had to watch the sky too for old Whitetail the marsh hawk, or his cousin Redtail, or Blacky the crow, each of whom would be glad of a meadow mouse dinner. Yet in spite of all this, Danny was happy and never once lost his appetite. But Peter Rabbit, with nothing to worry him, so long as he stayed at the old briar patch, couldn't eat and grew more and more unhappy. I don't know what's the matter with me. I really don't know what's the matter with me, said Peter as he turned up his nose at a patch of sweet, tender young clover. I think I'll go and cut some new paths through the old briar patch. Now, though he didn't know it, that was the very best thing he could do. It gave him something to think about. For 2 or 3 days, he was very busy cutting new paths, and his appetite came back. But when he had made all the paths he wanted, and there was nothing else to do, he lost his appetite again. He just sat still all day long and moped and thought and thought and thought. The trouble with Peter Rabbit's thinking was that it was all about himself and how unhappy he was. Of course, the more he thought about this, the more unhappy he grew. If I only had someone to talk to, I would feel better, said he to himself. That reminded him of Johnny Chuck and what good times they used to have together when Johnny lived in the Green Meadows. Then he thought of how happy Johnny seemed with his little family in his new home in the old orchard, in spite of all the worries his family made him. And right then Peter found out what was the matter with him. I believe I'm just lonesome, said Peter. Yes, sir, that's what's the matter with me. It isn't good to be alone. I've often heard my mother say, it makes one selfish, grouchy, cross, and quite unhappy all the day. One needs to think of other folks and not of just oneself alone, to find the truest happiness and joy and real content to own. Now that I have found out what is the trouble with me, the question is, what am I going to do about it? Chapter 2. Peter Rabbit plans a journey. It's a long jump that makes no landing, Peter Rabbit. The trouble with me is that I'm lonesome, repeated Peter Rabbit as he sat in the dear old briar patch. Yes, sir, that's the only thing that's wrong with me. I'm just tired of myself, and that's why I've lost my appetite. And now I know what's the matter and what I'm going to do about it. If I were sure, absolutely sure, that Old Man Coyote meant what he said about our being friends, I'd start out this very minute to call on all my old friends. It seems an age since I visited the Smiling Pool and saw Grandfather Frog and Jerry Muskrat and Billy Mink and Little Joe Otter. Mr. Coyote sounded as if he really meant to leave me alone. But, well, perhaps he did mean it when he saw me sitting here safe among the brambles. But if I should meet him out in the open, he might change his mind and, oh dear, his teeth are terrible long and sharp. Peter sat a little longer, thinking and thinking. Then a bright idea popped into his head. He kicked up his heels. I'll do it, said he. I'll make a journey, that's what I'll do. I'll make a journey and see the great world. By staying here and sitting still, I'm sure I'll simply grow quite ill. A change of scene is what I need to be from all my trouble freed. Of course, if Peter had really stopped to think the matter over thoroughly, he would have known that running away from one kind of trouble is almost sure to lead to other troubles. But Peter is one of those who does his thinking afterward. Peter is what is called impulsive. That is, he does things and then thinks about them later, and often wishes he hadn't done them. So now, the minute the idea of making a journey popped into his head, he made up his mind that he would do it, and that was all there was to do it. You see, Peter never looks ahead. If he could get rid of the trouble that bothered him now, which was nothing but lonesomeness, he wouldn't worry about the troubles he might get into later. Now, the minute Peter made up his mind to make a journey, he began to feel better. His lost appetite returned, and the first thing he did was to eat a good meal of sweet clover. Let me see, said he. As he filled his big stomach, I believe I'll visit the old pasture. It's a long way off, and I've never been there. But I've heard Sammy Jay say that it's a very wonderful place. And I don't believe it is any more dangerous than the green meadows and the green forest. Now that Old Man Coyote and Reddy and Granny Fox are all living here. I'll start tonight when I'm sure that Old Man Coyote is nowhere around, and I won't tell a soul where I am going. So Peter settled himself and tried to sleep the long day away. But his mind was so full of the long journey he was going to make that he couldn't sleep much. And when he did have a nap, he dreamed of wonderful sights and adventures out in the great world. At last, he saw jolly, round, red Mr. Sun drop down to his bed behind the purple hills. Old Mother West Wind came hurrying back from her day's work and gathered her children, the merry little breezes, into her big bag, and then she too started for her home behind the purple hills. A little star came out and winked at Peter, and then way over on the edge of the green forest he heard Old Man Coyote laugh. Peter grinned. That was what he had been waiting for, since it meant that Old Man Coyote was so far away that there was nothing to fear from him. Peter hopped out from the dear, safe old briar patch, looked this way and that way, and then, with his heart in his mouth, started towards the old pasture as fast as he could go, lipperty lip, purty lip. Chapter 3. Hooty the Owl Changes His Hunting Grounds. A full stomach makes a pleasant tea, an empty stomach turns the whole world grey. Peter Rabbit. Hooty the Owl sat on the tip-top of a tall dead tree in the green forest, while the black shadows spread swiftly among the trees. He was talking to himself. It wouldn't have done for him to have spoken loud what he was saying to himself, for then the little people in feathers and fur on whom he likes to make his dinner would have heard him and known just where he was. So he said it to himself and sat so still that he looked for all the world like a part of the tree on which he was sitting. What he was saying was this: "Too-wit, too-woo, too-wit, too-woo, will someone tell me what to do? My children have an appetite that keeps me hunting all the night, and though their stomachs I may stuff, they never seem to have enough. Too-wit, too-woo, too-wit, too-woo, will someone tell me what to do?" When it was dark enough, he gave his fierce hunting call. Woo hoo hoo, woo hoo. Now that is a terrible sound in the dark woods, very terrible indeed to the little forest people, because it sounds so fierce and hungry. It makes them jump and shiver. And that is just what Hooty wants them to do, for in doing it one of them is likely to make just the least scratching with his claws or to rustle a leaf. If he does, Hooty, whose ears are very, very wonderful, is almost sure to hear, and with his great yellow eyes see him, and then Hooty has his dinner. The very night when Peter Rabbit started on his journey to the old pasture, Hooty the Owl had made up his mind that something had got to be done to get more food for those hungry babies of his up in the big hemlock tree in the darkest corner of the green forest. Hunting was very poor indeed, and Hooty was at his wits' end to know what he should do. He had hooted and hooted in vain in the green forest, and he had sailed back and forth over the green meadows like a great black shadow without seeing so much as a single mouse. "It's all because of Old Man Coyote and Granny and Red Fox," said Hooty angrily. "They have spoiled the hunting." "Yes, sir, that's just what they have done. If I expect to feed those hungry babies of mine, I must find new hunting grounds. I believe I'll go up to the old pasture. Perhaps I'll have better luck up there." So Hooty the Owl spread his broad wings and started for the old pasture just a little while after Peter Rabbit had started for the same place. Of course, he didn't know that Peter was on his way there, and of course, Peter didn't know that Hooty even thought of the old pasture. If he had, perhaps he would have thought twice before starting. Anyway, he would have kept a sharper watch on the sky. But as it was, his thoughts were all of Old Man Coyote and Granny Fox, and that is where Peter made a very grave mistake indeed, as he was soon to find out. Chapter 4. The Shadow with Sharp Claws. Now what's the use, pray tell me this, when all is said and done, 1,000 things and one to learn, and then forget the one, for when that one alone you need and nothing else will do. What good are all the 1,000 then? I do not see, do you? Forgetting leads to more trouble than almost anything under the sun. Peter Rabbit knew this. Of course he knew it. Peter had had many a narrow escape just from forgetting something. He knew just as well as you know that he might just as well not learn a thing as to learn it and then forget it. But Peter is such a happy-go-lucky little fellow that he is very apt to forget, and forgetting leads him into all kinds of difficulties just as it does not most folks. Now Peter had learned when he was a very little fellow that when he went out at night he must watch out quite as sharply for Hooty the Owl as for either Granny or Reddy Fox, and as usually he did. But the night he started to make a journey to the old pasture, his mind was so full of Old Man Coyote and Granny and Reddy Fox that he wholly forgot Hooty the Owl. So as he scampered across the green meadows, lipperty, as fast as he could go with his long ears and his big eyes and his wobbly nose, all watching out for danger on the ground, not once did he think that there might be danger from the sky above him. It was a moonlight night, and Peter was sharp enough to keep in the shadows whenever he could. He would scamper as fast as he knew how from one shadow to another, and then sit down in the blackest part of each shadow to get his breath and to look and listen and so make sure that no one was following him. The nearer he got to the old pasture, the safer he felt from Old Man Coyote and Granny and Reddy Fox. When he scampered across the patches of moonshine, his heart didn't come up in his mouth the way it had at first. He grew bolder and bolder. Once or twice he stopped for a mouthful of sweet clover. He was tired, for he had come a long way. But he was almost to the old pasture now, and it looked very dark and safe, for it was covered with bushes and brambles. Plenty of hiding places there, thought Peter. It really looks as safe as the dear old briar patch. No one will ever think to look for me way off here. Just then he spied a patch of sweet clover out in the moonlight. His mouth began to water. I'll just fill my stomach before I go into the old pasture, for there may not be any clover there, said Peter. You'd better be careful, Peter Rabbit, said a wee warning voice inside him. Pooh, said Peter. There's nothing to be afraid of way up here. A shadow drifted across the sweet clover patch. Peter saw it. That must be made by a cloud crossing the moon, said Peter. And he was so sure of it that he didn't even look up to see, but boldly hopped out to fill his stomach. Just as he reached the patch of clover, the shadow drifted out over it again, then all in a flash. Shadow with sharp claws. A terrible thought entered Peter's head. He didn't stop to look up. He suddenly sprang sideways, and even as he did so, sharp claws tore his coat and hurt him dreadfully. He twisted and dodged and jumped and turned this way and that way, and all the time the shadow followed him. Once again, sharp claws tore his coat and made him squeal with pain. At last, when his breath was almost gone, he reached the edge of the old pasture and dived under a friendly old bramble bush. Oh, sobbed Peter. I forgot all about Hooty the Owl. Besides, I didn't suppose he ever came way up here. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you are new to my channel.